I'm going down to the drugstore, buy a big old skeiny yarn. I'm gonna knit me a kitten, even if you don't give a darn.
Hi, welcome to this episode of the We Are Yarn podcast. I just finished the last episode just a moment ago. Moving into this one now because we got to break things up because there's so much to talk about. I'm still working on this cuppa. And let's move on into finished objects. I have not yet recorded, but will very soon, a video that I will enter here of me modeling my new sweater that I'm putting on while I'm talking to you. This is the Mailin, M-A-I-L-I-N by Heidi Kermeyer. And it is friggin' amazing, guys. I am so in love with this sweater. What took me so long to knit it? So here we go. I have put it on. And maybe my modeling is done now. So here it is on me now. So this was knit out of shepherd's wool, which is an amazing yarn. If you have access to this, you need to try some, if even just for a little hat. This is the Sage colorway. It looks like the dye lot tells me it was dyed in February of 2014. And that was quite some time ago. I'm glad to finally have it in a sweater home. I do still have quite a bit left, about a ball. I am going to make a hat or something to match because this was an amazing, amazing yarn, and I can't wait to work with it some more. My cat's acting like he's going to cough up a ball, and that makes me really unhappy. Or maybe he's eaten something he shouldn't have. Anyway. So, I was originally not going to do the fold over cuffs. Yeah, here it comes. That's awesome. I was originally not going to do the fold over cuffs, but I did anyway. Because when I got down to it, I was like, you know, she actually has a background in fashion design. She knows what she's doing. I should probably just go with what she's doing. So I did. So there's my fold over cuff. I do not regret it. You can already see I'm starting to pill a little bit because that's how much I've worn it. I do have a gleaner that I need to break in, so I'll probably be doing that. This was knit on, let's see, I have US 5s. I used my I've learned now they're Leica. I heard somebody pronounce it. But I'm from the South, so I'm going to say Likey, because that's how we all say it around here. We may just be uneducated. For the sleeves, and then for the body, I thought all my needles were still in there, but they're not. I think for the body I used some size 7 cubics, pretty certain. And it was lovely all around. I did the second option for the cable, which is the one that's on, that Isabel did, like the one that she's modeling, had this cable. And the other one was nice, but this one was kind of funkier, like it was a little different. And I liked the little different. So, what else? I did, trying to think of things. Okay, so I did Jenny Surprisingly Stretchy Bind Off here. Now this collar, I thought about making the ribbing thicker, taller, but honestly I was just so excited to be getting it done that I went as far as the pattern told me to, and then I stopped. I did a regular, like traditional bind off, whatever you call that, up here, because I didn't want it to stretch out too much, because I didn't like how wide the collar looked really wide. And I had thought about doing the cowl neck, or it didn't look loose enough to really be a cowl. It's almost a turtleneck that it called for, but that you could do. But I decided against it because I don't really, this climate, I didn't really need it. That may be why I have a ball left over, because the yardage requirements probably includes that. I didn't want it to stretch out anymore because I didn't want it to get real wide like it was on Isabel. Even though she's the fashion designer, just saying, I know, but I don't like them that wide. So, and that's why we knit, right? So we can make it exactly the way we want to. So, I did a regular bind off down here as well, mainly because I was coming to the end of the ball and I didn't want to break into the next ball just for the bind off. So I just did a regular bind off instead of Jenny's stretchy. And it didn't need to be stretchy because it's big enough. Other than that, let's see what I wanted to say too. She has this really nice detail down the sleeve and down the side seam, or where the side seam would be, where she has you do a row of pearls to create a seam. So it looks like there's a seam there. I started doing that. The way I knit this is I did the body, or did the yoke, until I ran out of that ball. And then I did the sleeves, and I came and picked that back up and did the body. I remembered that seam for that first ball, and then I remembered that seam working the first session of when I started working on the sleeve. And then I forgot about it, and I did the rest of the sleeve without it. So I did this sleeve without it, or the other sleeve without it, and the rest of the body without it. Just because I had forgotten, and I decided that it wasn't noticeable enough that I thought it would make a difference. I don't regret it. Just because I wanted to be able to knit in the round. I just wanted to go. And that made that possible. So, I have worn the heck out of it. It is perfect. I followed all the directions to a T, other than those previously stated. I forgot to mention, so I'm going to throw this in real quick. I did not properly soak this, like dunk it in water and let it sit for a while, because I was concerned. The sleeves are perfect, and I was afraid that they were going to grow out of proportion. So I just, instead of giving this a good wash, I used some blocking wires and kind of straightened everything out. I put them down the sides. Mine are pretty stiff. I put them down the sides to kind of pull out, just to kind of open the lace work up a little bit. And then one across the shoulders and I let it bow to kind of, and then across the bottom to give it a little bit of stretch and just kind of make everything, just so. And then I hit it real good with my steamer. So I steam blocked this. Yeah. Back to the video. Alright, questions? Come shoot me a question on the Ravelry group or in a PM on Ravelry, or my email address will be listed at the end of the podcast. If this is your first time joining me on my YouTube channel, thanks for coming. If this is your first time joining me in the Ravelry group or on weareyarn.com, I'm so glad you found me. Old friends, welcome back. Hanging out on the floor of my craft room today with the sheep. Just because I didn't feel like sitting on the bed mixing things up. So my next finished object is spinning. I know, right? So Louette, many moons ago, sent me a Learn to Dye kit, and it had 3 colors in it. And they sent me 2 or 3 different kinds of fiber, and as an experiment I combined some red and some blue until it was a pretty purple. And then I had divided off 2 4-ounce bumps of 2 of the different fibers, which I don't recall what they were now because that's how I roll these days. I was going to bring those bags of fiber over, and I'm looking over there because I can see them right there. But now I have a cat in my lap. Like just 3 minutes ago, he climbs in my lap, and I'm not going to make him get back up. I've already made him get up once, and he was very, very not into that, so he can stay. But, and I treated him a little differently, and to see if I could get one to be more light and dark and one more uniform, and I had fun with it. I played around with them, did some experimentation. Well, then I had the brilliant idea that I could ply them together, and I had a friend give me this giant ball of this kind of purple mohair fuzziness, and I was like, oh, I could totally use that and ply that with it. And then I got paralysis by analysis. This is the thing I do. I was like, oh my gosh, what if I don't like it? What if I apply them and then it's horrible? And then I was watching the interview with Stephen West and Christy Glass, and it dawned on me that, because he was starting to talk about, feeling the freedom of being able to hold 2 yarns double. It's like, that's my answer. I don't have to ply this in. I can just hold it double if I want a heavier weight sweater, and that'll be fine. So I went ahead this weekend when I was with the girls in Brevard and skeined and plied my 2 purples together. So this is how it turned out. Hide my face a little. Come on, there you go. I'm really, really pleased with how it came out. I was expecting it to be a little bit thinner, so I'm actually pretty happy that I didn't hold it with the mohair. But I may end up going back and doing that. I have no idea how much yardage I got because that's not something I do. These days I don't count my yardage. I know how big my nitty notty is. I can count how many wraps I made. And you know what? I don't feel like it. Don't feel like it. But I do know that I tend to average between 800 and 1,000 yards of a single out of 4 ounces. So I'm pretty confident I have somewhere between 800 and 1,000 yards of that. It's a pretty big skein. I'm pretty stoked. I'm probably going to err on the side of caution and say about 800, but it may be more. I don't know. Alright, so I'm pleased with that. I still have not soaked it or anything. I haven't steamed it or any of that. Alright, so let's talk about when I fell down at my local LYS. They were having a trunk show. The Fiber Studio was. And she had a sale on the cashmere silk fingering. 65% cashmere, 35% silk. You get 217 yards in a 50-gram ball. And I have wanted for quite some time to make a 3-color cashmere cowl. But I was never pleased because it looks really, really nice in solids. And I have a lot of variegateds and not many solids. And I wasn't real sure what to use. And now that I say that, I'm like, oh, I could use this other thing. My girl Abby at my LYS, Hook and Needle in Maryville, helped me choose my colors. So if you're not familiar with a 3-color cashmere cowl, I do not have it printed out so you can see. It is a pattern, paid for pattern by Joji Locatelli. It's beautiful. She made hers with Miss Babs, and I don't know if it's the same base or just a very similar, but it has the same content. My girl Abby, I was trying to be all neutral, and then we realized that there was no way that I could be neutral. I just needed to go wild. And I have been in love with this color combination since last summer or the summer before when it was so stinking popular. So I'm going with it. So my two kind of more neutral muteds is Sand Dune and what I've been calling Coral, just because I've been too lazy to look at the tag. Tangerine Dream. So Sand Dune and Tangerine Dream are going to be the two that I stripe together. And then that one big block of Color Pop is turquoise. Because, and this yells beach to me. I mean, it screams beach. And, yeah, in the middle of the winter, hey, ow, rude cat. In the middle of the winter, what do you need? A reminder of the luxury of cashmere and the peace the beach brings me. That was my idea. That was my plan. So I cast on. We had a cast on party, me and my girl Ash, because she bought some yarn to make a 3-color cashmere cowl. And this is how far I got. I made it into the color change, and then my husband and I, the night I came home from the girls' night, watched a movie. And while we were watching the movie, I got to the next color change. So I'm well on my way. This is amazing, guys. The dye job, I believe, is beautiful. The yarn is so soft. It's just, it's a joy. I'm really enjoying working on it. The pattern is very well written, as we have come to expect from Hohi. Speaking of Hohi, have you started watching? She has a YouTube channel, and she has started posting Hohi's journals. And they're her English videos once a week. And they're so nice. She is so lovely. You should check it out. And you kind of get a glimpse into the mind of the designer. And it's really nice. I highly recommend it. Alright, well, that's all I have gathered around me for now. So I guess this will be the end of this podcast. Thank you guys so much for watching. Any way that you can get in touch with me is going to be on a splash screen at the end of the episode. And until next time, happy knitting, guys. Bye-bye.
I just can't wait to finish. I got the kitten knitting blues. No, I just can't wait to finish. That's why I got those kitten knitting blues.